If you've heard someone say that Calgary's real estate market is slowing down, they're only telling you part of the story. One of the biggest misconceptions I'm hearing right now is exactly that. The market is slowing down. While that's technically true in comparison to previous years, it doesn't tell the whole story, because Calgary hasn't been one market for quite some time. It's actually 4 different markets happening all at once. Detached homes are performing very differently than condos, row homes sit somewhere in the middle, and semi-detached homes continue to remain remarkably stable. So before making any real estate decisions based on headlines, it's important to understand which market you're actually in. The number of sales were down about 4% compared to last June. New listings also eased, inventory remained relatively steady, and Calgary's benchmark price sits at $572,500, about 2% lower than a year ago. At first glance, that sounds like prices are still falling, but here's what's encouraging. We've now seen 5 consecutive months of month-over-month price growth. After prices declined each month from June of last year through to January of this year, we've recovered a good portion of those losses. That's great news. Having said that, I don't expect we'll continue seeing the same pace of growth through the second half of the year. With inventory remaining healthy and the market becoming more balanced, I think prices will likely level off and move more modestly from here. So what does that actually mean? It depends entirely on what you're buying and what you're selling. If you're selling a condo and buying a detached home, today's market may actually work in your favor. Yes, condo prices have softened, but detached homes have remained relatively resilient. Bidding wars have eased, and buyers have more inventory to choose from. If you're selling detached and buying detached, you're essentially buying and selling in the same market. Your success isn't about timing the market, it's about pricing properly and negotiating well. And if you're downsizing, today's market can actually present some really nice opportunities, especially if you're moving from a detached home into a condo or row home where buyers currently have more negotiating power. I want to share something I'm seeing every day. For sellers, the biggest mistake I'm seeing isn't presentation, it isn't marketing, it's pricing. Many sellers naturally have a number they'd like to receive. Maybe it's based on what the neighbor sold for a while back, maybe it's based on improvements they've made, or maybe it's simply what they'd like to walk away with. All of those reasons are understandable, but buyers don't see any of those things. They're comparing your home against what's available today and what's sold recently. They're shopping today's competition. One thing I've learned after hundreds of transactions is this: buyers determine value, not sellers. Every sale happens when one buyer decides a home is worth purchasing. The homes attracting the strongest interest today are the ones priced for today's market, not yesterday's. And for buyers, the biggest mistake I'm seeing is assuming every seller should accept a low offer simply because the market has become more balanced. That's just not true. Detached homes continue to perform well, in fact very well in many Calgary communities. Well-priced homes are still attracting strong interest. The goal isn't to avoid negotiating. In fact, buyers should negotiate. The goal is to negotiate fairly. Most sellers aren't looking to give their home away, and if you were the seller, chances are you wouldn't either. So what's the takeaway this month? Is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? The answer is it's both. It depends on the property type, it depends on the neighborhood, and it depends on what you're buying or selling. Every move is different, every strategy should be different too. If you'd like to know what today's market means for your specific home or your plans over the next while, I'd be happy to have that conversation. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next month.